Surrounded by. I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
Surrounded by them.
idiots.
My boy Stan gave it to me. You know Stan, who I be making beats with? He was R&B. What was it? R&B, R&B shit.
You made this or what?
No, it's I don't know, but I love it. I don't ever use it though. Like I never have like passed a joint on it, but you're supposed to be able to like pass a joint and spin it.
I mean, you should be using it over there instead of here.
I know, but it's
But
a nice piece.
It looks
It's a nice piece to the
colored
table.
nice.
I was
I
like,
understand.
and it's a nice. You have the ashtray. I had just gotten that, but ashtray.
Very interesting. What is this?
No clue. Oh, something for rolling with the roll.
Oh, no. It's for scooping the weed.
Oh, now I know.
And then you in the pre-rolls, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
with the cones.
Yeah, you scoop the weed up.
This is the way to use Fonto and still use cones.
True.
I would have never put that together.
That's true.
Yeah. How
That's
you doing,
different.
man?
Oh, I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
Welcome to the podcast. You know,
Here, finally.
finally, this is long overdue.
It's long overdue.
So I've known Ash since what year did we meet?
Let's say probably the end of 2015.
Bring that mic a little bit closer.
Probably the end of 2015.
2015. Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
That's what is that? That's 2020 makes 5 years. 2024.
9 years.
Going on 10.
Going on 10.
That's wild.
10th year in LA.
We met at a party for who is it?
It was an all white party for Don Benjamin.
For Don Benjamin. Yep.
It was fun.
And I saw Ash, and I was like, "Who's this guy? He thinks he's cool." I'm like, "Oh." And I was just thinking that at first, and then we sparked conversation. I do that a lot. I assume we were talking about this earlier, just judging, and I've gotten better since 9 years. Yeah. But I was thinking, I'm like, who's this guy? He thinks he's so cool because you look cool.
Trying.
And he
trying and broke back then.
He had, but you still always. That's one thing. You always still had the fits on. You still always you still moved a certain way.
Did it the wrong way. I bought clothes before I had anything. Don't do that, y'all. Trust me.
But but it led you to what you do now, which is the funny inverse way about it. But yeah, I saw you at the party, and then we ended up talking about something, and I was like, oh man, he's actually cool. And then I don't remember when was the first time we hung out after that, but
yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, it was. I was like, damn, that's my boy, man. I fuck with him.
Yeah, we just got cool.
My boy had the crib with the gates to go up like this. I was like, oh shit!
Yeah,
I used to pull out, yo, this nigga got the different shit.
Lamborghini gates. There's this building, and they had the gates. Those gates never worked.
Now I remember.
Never worked. Like every time they'd either be open or.
It's crazy. I'm like, it only worked the first time I ever went there. I'm like, damn. So it was just like showed me the first time. After that, it's like, yeah, fuck it. We did it. We showed y'all everything we need to see.
That's funny. So you're from Dallas originally?
I'm from Dallas. I was born in Nigeria. Was raised in Dallas, Arlington, Texas. First in Irving, then Arlington.
Okay. So did you enjoy what was life like in Dallas?
Growing up in Dallas was it was fun. I was a fun kid. Hung out with a lot of older guys. Kind of got schooled and taught what to do. You know how you don't know what you're doing when you're a kid and. Kind of like, oh damn, it's the popular kids, and these are who you need to. So I just, I hung around people, got the game I needed to learn, and I feel like it was a great experience in my high school. I always tell people my high school was like comparable to Degrassi. If you ever watched Degrassi.
Oh, okay. So there was a lot of drama going on.
It was fun. It was so fun. You never knew what was gonna happen. Like you never knew. It was crazy.
How many kids?
Man, my high school probably had like 3,000 kids. There was a lot of kids in my high school.
Jesus Christ.
It's a big high school.
4,000 kids?
In Texas.
So your class was probably like what?
My class was a lot, man. It was like 1,000 or something. It was a lot of graduates in my high school. Like
that's wild.
My senior year was crazy. I was like, man. I remember it was long. Like graduation was so long. I was like, yo.
No, that's insane. Bro, I went to a high school with my graduating class was like, I want to say 32 kids, 30 kids. Like tiny school. The whole high school had like 300 kids in it, 285, something like that. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was nothing at all. Like I would see that on television, and I was like, oh, this is way different. Because I always went to smaller schools in Chicago. I never went to like a real high school, like that Friday Night Lights.
You went to like private school? Was it a private?
No, I went to this school called McDade for elementary school. That's where I met Jamal Jabari.
Oh, okay.
And so I went there kindergarten through 6th grade because that's where I went to. Then I went to this middle school called Robert A. Black, also a smaller school. That was only a 7th and 8th grade school, but they're all public. And then the biggest school I went to was in Atlanta. And that was like... Still though, I never went to no school with 1,000 kids. That's wild.
So your middle school was 6th. It was only 6th grade.
7th and 8th grade.
So what was 6th grade for you?
6th grade was still at that elementary school.
So 6th grade was elementary school for you?
Yeah, but I was doing the Lion King, so I wasn't actually in
So
school.
did the school go like kindergarten to 6th grade?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so where I grew up originally, I grew up in the city in Irving, Texas.
Okay.
And there it was like middle school was up until 5th grade. And then, elementary was up until 5th grade.
Okay.
And then middle school was 6th, 7th, and 8th. So when I was in 6th grade, it was like 8th graders in school with us. So it was different. Like we used to get in fights, get beat up, you just see kids get jumped, all kind of crazy. Like kids would get bullied. You're 6th grader, you know.
Yeah, that's why.
There's 8th graders, you know. You're not really. It's not like when you're in elementary. You're like kindergarten through. Y'all still kind of small, kindergarten through, but like 6th to 7th, 8th. That's when kids start getting like kind of bad, and you know.
Oh yeah, like
so
there's 8th graders who
there's
are
8th graders.
problems.
If you're in the 8th grade, it's different from a 6th grader. So it was kind of weird. But my dad became a physician when started owned a practice. Once I got to like 8th grade, 7th grade, he had a practice in Dallas. So we moved out of the city and moved into the suburbs. Okay. And that's when I moved into a school that was only 7th and 8th grade, like you're saying.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. Now it's funny because I thought that made more sense.
It makes a lot more sense.
Because I was like, when I got there, I was like, it's only 7th and 8th graders? But then I was like, yeah, because why was there 6th graders in school? It didn't make sense. Like, you know?
Dude, it's weird how that age gap, I mean, it's even for dating later in life, like that age gap later in life doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't.
But
it's weird then.
In that time,
you could be dating an 8th grader in 6th grade. It's not really nothing, but if you really think about it,
that's weird.
It's kind of weird. You're like, wait, a 6th grader is like close to like 10 years old, 11. 8th graders getting closer to like 13, 14. Like
those few, yeah.
It's kind of like, but it wasn't nothing crazy. But it was my middle school was cool. It was pretty normal. I went to school with Selena Gomez.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was funny, very random. Never really talked to her, nothing like that. But was definitely in school with Selena Gomez. She was in 8th grade when I was in 7th grade. It's funny.
That's crazy. So she wasn't acting or anything at that point?
Yeah, I think she was.
She was.
She wasn't always in school. We didn't really know who she was or nothing, but she wasn't always in school. And then I remember when she was supposed to go to 9th grade and people were going to 9th grade, she didn't end up. We never saw her again. And then once I got to 9th grade, we started hearing about Wizards of Waverly playing.
She ascended.
Yo, did she? You can never be bigger than her. Like,
that's insane.
For my city, it's gonna be tough to be bigger than her.
Yeah, Arlington, Texas.
So she's from Grand Prairie, though.
Okay, great. Yeah. What's the demographics in like Arlington?
Well,
I mean, let's look them up. But like, what from your experience?
Well, from my experience growing up, depends on where you were at. There was like a side where it's like Mansfield. It's more like white people and stuff like that. There was a lot of mixed kids growing up where I was from. I feel like it was a big migration of like black people and like people from the city and maybe like the hood. I don't know what happened, but I'm guessing all these black people somehow got money and were able to move to the suburbs. Because once I moved out of the city, it was like a lot of people I grew up with in the city also moved to the suburb area I was in. So it was like, it was pretty comfortable. So when I grew up, it was pretty much black, Mexican, you know what I mean? That's Asian. That's what we really like grew up with. And unlike most places, like Los Angeles is very split up, Mexicans, blacks are different,
Yeah.
But growing up in Texas, it's like we were like, I mean, aside from some white people, but like all together, we were all like kind of similar. Like, everyone sounded the same. Like you'll see like an Asian guy that we grew up with us, he sounds exactly like how I would sound. Like he sound like,
I see what
you know,
you're
what I'm saying,
saying.
sound like
Yeah,
you're like, oh dang, like you're like, wait, if he was to talk on the phone, you wouldn't even know, you wouldn't know his ethnicity.
Right,
You would
I
think
feel
you
you.
think he's a black guy,
Yeah.
Mexican guy. That's you seen the what's this Mexican rapper that's been
Oh,
popular?
Mexican OT?
Yeah, OT.
Yeah.
You know, like how he sounds. There's
Yeah.
like that's how everybody that's a minority for the most part. That's how they sound. Like it's a like universal sound. Like everybody's talk like that. There's lingo. All the lingo is the same. Like they gonna sound. They hear it so much. Everybody sounds like that.
That's cool though.
It's different. You know.
Texas seems like a cool place. I went to Austin for New Year's.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I had a good time, man. It's good people, good vibes. Like they just drink in Austin.
Yeah, they party. It's a party place. You
Yeah,
know,
for
acid, all the
sure.
good stuff.
Yeah,
they having
they
fun
be
out
go-
there.
But weed's not legal.
Yeah.
Which is
It's decriminalized. You know, Texas is probably the last place they're gonna do that in. It's legal now in Oklahoma. You know, it's just and Oklahoma's 45 minutes away from Texas. You know,
right. Good point.
so it's like it's weird. But you know, I feel like maybe one day they'll be like that. But I don't know when that'll be. You know, hopefully in our lifetime. Doubt it. Though.
No, in our lifetime, Texas will come around in our lifetime.
It's possible.
When all these other states are getting money, and it's gotten ridiculous. When it's like they're one of the last 8, I think they'll come around.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because you don't want to be. You look goofy at first when you're 1st at doing anything, but you always look goofy when you're last.
Yeah, you probably look
Because
crazy.
then you're like, nigga, everybody's already done this. You late to the party.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense. So you were hooping. I know you were playing basketball all through high school, right? So was basketball what you thought you were going to do with your future in high school?
In high school, I definitely felt like I was gonna be a basketball player. That was basically all I did. Like after my freshman year, I got really serious, and I was like, you know, start going to camps, playing the AAU, just focusing on that. And yeah, it was my focus really. I didn't really, growing up there, we didn't really have people like that you would meet, that you would see. Like you're from Chicago, so I mean, like you hear like. Growing up, you're hearing stories and knowing about multiple people who've done this and that. They've played ball. You might have football players that are famous from Chicago. You've had actors, singers, multiple. There's actors that won Oscars. Y'all know about them.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? Like we don't, in Texas, we don't even know, like in the area I grew up in, I didn't know of anybody that done anything until I got much older. You know what I mean? Like those people, it's so scarce. Like, those people are so dime a dozen, like you don't even hear about it. Like you might see a high school and then in this high school it's been like 10 years of their high school and nobody in that high school did anything like in the industry that you could imagine. Like
athletics though.
Athletics, yeah. So that's what we knew.
Right.
Growing up, you're thinking like being a football player, being a basketball player, you know, being a track star.
That's you can at least be playing in college at a high level.
You're thinking about that, and you know that's free. You know, like college is gonna be free. You won't have to worry about certain things, and that's what. And you know, less stress on your parents. You know, so you just think about things like that. So all I really thought about was like playing ball. I had one friend though, growing up. I had one friend that was an actor, and that was the only way I understood about that world at all. He was in commercials. He was young, did it since he was a kid. And so that was like one person that kind of told me when I was young. He was like, you could do what I'm doing. I remember when he said that and I was like, damn. I kind of laughed at it. I was like, yo, nah, probably not. Because I was like, you know what I'm saying? You're just like, you're a kid and you do, you know, you're not used to hearing shit like that. So it's funny. But he actually still is working too. That's great.
That is a weird, I take that for granted a lot, bro. Just the fact that growing up in a major city, there's people doing all kinds of shit. Like, you know, so you're just kind of like, yeah, I could probably do that. And starting young. So it's like, but yeah, you don't think about that. Like, right, if there's no one around you who's so you're like, right, yeah.
You don't even think, and then when the opportunity comes towards you, you don't even understand the moment really. Like the first time somebody ever told me I could be a model, I didn't take it seriously, you know. I didn't take it as like something that was, I took it as a joke. Like I was like, is this person trying to be funny? Or like, cause you just don't hear that. Where I'm from, people don't even say that. Like if, maybe now, you know, there's a different day and age, but like, at the time you just didn't hear people come up to people and say stuff like that. So
You're right. They would be like, oh, you a model, huh? Like
they
or some
wouldn't
shit.
even say that.
They would say something else. Yeah.
It was just like, you think you're cute or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's true.
it would be stuff like that. Honestly, growing up, it was like, I never heard in Texas like, yo, you should be a model. I've never heard that.
Right. Good point.
But I did. I will say this: when I got my first tattoos, my mom was like, damn, you could have been I don't know, why did you get tattoos? You could have been an actor or a model. And I was like, I'm not trying to be a model or actor. I'm going to play ball, man. You know?
I'm a hooper, mom.
I'm a hooper.
For life.
That type. So, it was, it's crazy, man. Honestly, growing up in a place like that where it was good. It was a good time, like, honestly. But I feel like it's good to, like, be someone that's done something because you can at least, I feel like people are inspired sometimes. They know, like, there's a lot of people that know that they're like, oh, people be like, this Ash, he was, he's from here, he did this. So, I mean, at least somebody's seeing like, damn, this person did this from there.
Right. Yeah.
That's far. I can at least, because in my opinion, they get to at least see that happen. So if you could see somebody else, that's how Michael Jordan, that's how all those other people were able to be them because they seen someone before and they're like, well, I feel like I can do that if they did.
100%.
And now I see it. So I didn't see it. So I feel like, it always is important to me that I think about that when I'm doing shit because I'm like, I want to get farther so I can show so somebody else can be like, I can get even farther than that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't have a frame of reference or somebody who comes from your environment, it's just so far-fetched.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely going to be kids coming out of Texas as a whole who are going to
There's going to be somebody,
oh, shit,
somebody's going to be super talented and do something like.
How you get into that? Well,
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Ashwell.
I saw this person and they were like, and then that's kind of how it was when I came to Los Angeles. Like I told you, you see, you kind of got to figure out your way here and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was pretty much high school and growing up there.
And so then what's your college story?
So my college story was I went to Delaware State University because I played prep school in New Jersey for a year. It was cool, boarding school type vibes, nothing but ball. And from there I went to Del State. It was cool. It wasn't fun. It wasn't nothing crazy, but a lot of people, Delaware is like black. Like it's like I would compare it to like Baltimore.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
to hear.
see? So you've been because you was in the wire, so you know how Baltimore was. That's kind of what the vibes I felt in like Delaware. Like in Del State, Dover, Delaware, it was like it was nice on campus. It's it's good, it's campus.
Campus. Yeah.
But like if you were to drive a little farther out and you'll be like, this project's not too far from campus. You see a lot of stuff. You're like, it's all black people. I didn't really like being in Dover, I don't really remember seeing that many white people, like just in general. Now, if you go to where like Delaware University is, that's like there's like white people. That's more like, that's, I feel like those are like, because Delaware is the first state. A lot of people don't know this as well. Okay. Delaware is the first state. I didn't know it until I went to school.
Until now.
It's the first state,
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's some historic shit. See? A little goofy if you're first, but hey,
a little
you're
bit.
First.
Yeah, see, that's exactly. So it was like, it's very interesting going to school there. It was fun. I had a good time. I was bad, unfortunately, and had to leave the school. But I wasn't too bad. I did normal stuff. Failed a drug test.
Yeah, I got you.
It was bad. Failed a drug test.
It was all the meth. No, I'm kidding.
Imagine. It was just crazy. It was definitely there. I'm sure there was some meth labs over there. It was fucking Dover, Delaware. It looked crazy.
That would be crazy.
If you know, you know. If you're people in Philly and other places, they know what Delaware is about. It's kind of crazy, grimy, but it was a good experience, honestly, because I like the East Coast. I felt like growing up I was more of an East Coast vibe. My favorite rappers Nas and stuff like that. So I think like it was a good experience to be in the East Coast. The cold, I didn't really mind the cold like that. It was cool. To see snow like in the wintertime was cool to me. I'm from Texas.
Right.
I saw snow sometimes in the wintertime because it snows in Texas. People don't know that, but it gets freezing cold there. But it's just like to see the consistent snow, you walk into class, it's snow, like it was kind of cool. It was cool to me. I don't know. I got my first pair of Timbs out there. Yeah, I didn't have like what other. I didn't need no reason.
Why
to
would you have
Timbs other
Timbs
than-
and fucking?
It's nobody
Texas?
wore. We didn't even wear Timbs in Texas. Like people wore like J's and Air Force Ones, you know. So it was pretty cool. Like Delaware was fun. I ended up having to leave. I wasn't getting in too much trouble in school. Stopped playing basketball there. Had to transfer. Went to school in out here in Los Angeles. A coach reached out. One of my coaches reached out to a coach, and they got me a spot. You know, gave us a little bread for us to go there. So it was cool. Shout out to Coach Kim, man. Honestly, he you'll probably see him. He's on Last
Okay.
Last Chance U. He's the guy with the wheelchair. He's like one of the reasons why I came to Los Angeles. Like shout out to him
dope.
for real. He's really changed the lives of kids. You know, I think it's an important thing when you're a coach and you're a recruiter, like because you really handle, you know, the life of kids and what they're gonna do. And just me coming here, you know, I could have went to like Minnesota or anywhere else to like play ball, but I came here, and even though I didn't end up going to school after that, I came here and I was able to find a purpose. And you know, I feel like that's what life is really about. You don't just go to these places to just do this. Just as you have to live and you got to learn. Like if you're going somewhere and you have to work or you have to go to school, you should be going to this place to learn and see what else you can become. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what I did when I came. I came here in 2014, and I kind of like I had to like change my frame of mind because I was a very angry person. I kind of was like, you know, coming from a place we don't smile all the time. I felt like the East Coast was real cool because people were real like frowny and everybody liked it. It was like a cool mood to have. Like,
right.
You could be kind of rude, and it was kind of at first it was annoying, but you know I kind of was accustomed. Then you
adapted, yeah.
Then you come to a place like this, and like the first year of Los Angeles was like, I feel like for me it was a real feel out year because you try to be yourself for real, like and just see what but you got to realize what yourself really is. But but you find out here because this is like it's kind of open. You're like, what are you really? Are you are you a leader? Are you a follower? Are you a survivor? Are you a hustler? You find all that out real quick here. You know what I mean? And that's what I came and I kind of was watching. I went to a lot of places, and I feel like this is a place where you can be who you really are, and you can try to build something, you know, but you also have to you got to focus, man. I feel like the first 2 years I kind of was just, you know, you kind of just high, like you're in La La Land, like figuring out like what this shit is about, partying and trying to, you know, meet girls.
The bright lights and everything's moving so fast, and I'm not used to seeing this.
You're
What's
not
going
used
on
to
over
it.
here?
You don't even know, like, I mean, like I played basketball, so you know, you're popular always growing up,
That's
so you
true,
know, but when you come here, you realize like that's nothing. Like you're not. Everybody here was the most popular in school. They was the best looking in school. They were the best singer, dancer. I got something from my middle school. It says most likely to go to Hollywood. That's what I got. That's what I got to come to LA. But I mean, I'm sure there's someone else that has that story as well because this is where those people come to. You know what I mean?
My mom have a picture that used to be on the fridge, and it was a picture of me and her standing in front of the Hollywood sign, and it was on my fridge ever since middle school.
You was in Chicago then, right?
Yep.
Things like that. You get what I'm saying?
You know.
And all those people where they at?
Yeah.
They end up here. I didn't even want to come to California. Like I used to kind of make fun of people from California because of the vans. I thought vans were so funny. Like I was like, yo, it looks so crazy.
A whole culture of vans.
It's just like everybody wore. I thought they were funny looking shoes. You know which ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not the ones with the ones with the shoelaces it's decent. It still kind of look like I always used to say that people that wore them look like they were in the Addams Family or something. Like, but like
they look like those nurses' shoes.
Yeah, like it was like that's the vibes I was getting. I didn't really like them, but I'm talking about the ones that were like flat with no shoelaces, the Vans.
Oh, like the slip-ons. Yeah.
The slip-ons.
I'm not going front. I had a pair of those.
You had a pair of slip-ons?
I had a pair of slip-ons.
They weren't checkerboard, were they?
No.
I was about to say, man. No, I hope it wasn't checkerboard, man.
I'm not
I was
that
like,
guy.
So are you emo? You was emo?
Yeah, I think I did have a blue pair though of like slip-on ones, but I think that was during that era where I was trying to figure out like, okay,
did you wear the cargos?
Am I gonna fuck with those Toms? Like,
did you wear the cargos with them with no socks?
No.
They used to cover Cal. That used to be my thing. I used to really think like it was fun. I used to think California people maybe were just not hip a little bit. That's what I thought, but
Well, no, because remember they used to do you could do like the cargos, but it was like the skinny cargos with the Vans and they would do the checkerboard, and then they would do socks, but sometimes they do like high top, like yellow socks or something like really obnoxious. Yeah,
I just didn't like. Honestly, I think it was the style. At first I didn't like the style. Like obviously, like people in Los Angeles dress good. There's people that everywhere, but it's just like I was so fixated because it was like a big migration at that time of California people to Texas. Like I don't know what it was, but it was just I was like
And
everybody from Cali, like
Instagram wasn't where it was either. So like you're basing what's going on in Cali based off of what?
And then exactly
a whole different time. So it's like that was a movement out here.
Yeah.
You knew about that. Like I remember in that era, that was that same era as like when I got out here. This was 2009. Like Dom Kennedy was huge. Like here though, and that was the only. I was like, oh, that's what's going on out here. Cool, but like as you know, things can be really popping here, and that's just one segment of here.
Just exactly.
Yeah, there's like 20,000 different other lives you could be living where that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
But as far as popular music, they had the song. What was their names? Got my Vans on, but it like me.
Oh yeah, the New Boys.
New Boys.
Yeah. I was honestly maybe I was hating because I couldn't jerk. I wasn't. I couldn't jerk.
You're a jerk.
I don't know. I wasn't. I didn't have it in me. I seen the era. It was cool. I just didn't. That was a dance. I didn't. I think maybe I was in the gym when them people was learning that. I don't know what was going on, but I didn't learn that one.
I think that's one of those age things.
I was in that age. That was my age group.
Yeah, I guess it would have been.
It was my age group. The kids were all the kids I grew up. That's what they was on. They was making the videos. I just didn't like the jerk. I didn't like it, but. Mind you, I figured when I was in the East Coast and I had the option to go to California, I was like, Los Angeles. I was like, man, let me see what this. I literally was like, let me see what this is about. And I remember the first day I was here, I was like looking outside and I was just looking at the city, and I'm like, I think I said something in the realm of in my head. I was like, things can't happen how it happens in the movies where you just run around and you get discovered for something.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what happens. Like. In reality, like, I mean, I feel like you do, unless you already came here with a plan, like, to do something.
Right.
You kind of got to go out and find out what you're going to do if you don't know already, And I was fortunate enough to, like, I went to school, then I had a school that's paying for where I was living.
Right.
And, I was able to have resources after that, friends and people to help me out and on the way up. And I feel like, that's just how it is. Like you have to really come here and figure out what you're gonna do, and that's what I had to do. And it was a process. You meet the wrong people. You definitely meet the wrong people.
A lot.
There's chances. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities that I had when I first came here, where I could have just been like, oh, let me try to do this, and it could have been like a big mistake.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like it's one of those things, and it's definitely definitely interesting leaving college and coming out here. And I actually didn't finish college. I stopped and started my career or whatnot, but it was
And how'd that happen? Like how the leap from college basketball to modeling, how'd that start?
Man, so I was playing ball, ended up stopping. I was still working out with trainers and stuff, but you go into the gym every now and then. I actually started working at a weed shop. I had a friend, one of my Armenian friends, was where he owned a weed shop at the time. So I'm working for him, making money runs. Right. He had a couple shops, so I'm moving money and weed, doing all that for him in the shops and all that. So it was a cool job, the bud tender shit. It was really cool. Like it was good money. I was able to survive. I didn't have credit at the time, so he kind of let me stay at his spot for a while, like, and I saved and. Right. Ended up moving in with a girl to figure things out, all that. It was, and in between that, just playing ball, I was like in the gym with one of my friends one day and just playing ball. And I think he like posted or something. The agent saw it and he was like, basically he was like, yo, we want to submit you for Nike and see what you got. And I was like, check it out, So I
bet.
Submitted me and I did a job for Air Jordan in 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, that was my first job, and I think I probably got paid like way under, you know, at the time. It was like one of your first job. Like, I don't know, remember what it was, but it was cool because it was experience. And I remember being there with like, and I'm watching there's two other dudes, and they clearly look like they've been doing stuff for Nike and Air Jordan for a while, and they was like kind of on their way out, like, you know, like kind of like, you know, a little bit older, like been doing it for a while, and they telling me like, yeah, we done this and this is how it goes, and it was like, man, you gonna be around for a while, we can tell, like this and that. I'm like, where, like, and so it's kind of one of those things, and you like, damn, like what is gonna happen from here? But I did that with one agent. I didn't book nothing with them probably for a year after that. I kind of was like, for a year, I was kind of just doing really small stuff for little stores and just small stuff, unsigned, just, you know, just getting picked up. People would really contact me. I had a friend named Jasmine. She's a photographer. She kind of was like, you know, kind of pushing me, telling me to model. I had a friend, Sierra, telling me I should go into agencies and stuff. And I kind of was just like, I didn't feel it. Like, I didn't feel like that was it yet, you know? I didn't know if that was the purpose or what I could do. Because it didn't feel like, you know, I didn't feel like I had the confidence to go into agency and they'll be like, I was just like, what am I gonna do there? Like,
Well, yeah, well, it's so foreign, like for somebody who doesn't do that. It's like, so what, like you said too, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go in there and be like, I'm good looking, right?
yeah, like
How does this work?
I didn't even understand that you're supposed to go take headshots, have someone submit, like,
Right.
That's the things you don't know because you know, you have no experience. You're just hearing like people word of mouth, like, hey, you look like a model.
You should try this.
And you're like, what? Like, what does that mean? So
Right.
that was the process, and it was just like, you know, people telling me in this, I finally took a risk, you know, did my first one. It was pretty good. But then from there I had to I did a shoot with Nike a year later. One of the agents I was working with submitted me for a bigger job. And it was like a worldwide campaign with Nike. So I went to South America, Uruguay, and that was my first campaign for Nike. But from there, I did probably like 4 or 5 that year in different countries.
Oh shit! That's
Germany,
dope.
South America. We went to Tokyo. We went to Canada. It was just a tour. It was crazy. Like, it was honestly the most fun I ever had. Like, we had the craziest hotels. Like,
man,
that's how it started. You know, it was from there it started, you know, picking up.
Yeah, I know you were like, this is dope. You're like, yeah, I like this.
It was different. You know, you never really think that people get money from doing all this stuff. How much that they can survive or make a living. Like, you don't know what, you know, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just definitely a different experience. You playing ball, a lot of ball players, we don't really know what to do after. You play ball your whole life. That's all you're thinking about. So it's like, it's one of those things that it was a progressive change. I was like, I played basketball. So the first thing I was doing was basketball. Mm-hmm. And then from there I started, you know, I got signed. I had an agent. His name was Aaron Cohen. He was pushing me far. He used to be a Nike director as well. He was pushing me to do a lot of stuff, like, you know what I mean, telling me to work out. He used to talk me up a lot, tell me how big I was going to be with this Nike stuff and modeling and this and that. But he passed away, man, and I think that was one of the main reasons I had to, like, really get on the grind, because before he passed away, he told me to go to New York and, like, you know, try to find a big agency, because I was just working with him privately. So when I went to New York, he passed away. I don't know, he had like a allergic reaction to a medicine or something and passed away. So I got a call. So yeah, I had to find an agency from there, and I was in New York, so I kind of was messing around talking to agencies, and I ended up going back to LA and signing with Wilhelmina in LA, and from there it was like everything started falling into place, and it started, you know, moving how it was supposed to. It was really, I feel like it was a real journey. It was really tough, but
yeah, man. I mean, and you did that all. You came out here in 2012, right?
I came here 2014.
2014. So, bro, it's a matter of 2 years.
Yeah, it was quick.
From like playing basketball to like
being in the industry.
Yeah, that's an amazing turnaround time. You brought this up, but I was thinking it when you were saying it. I was like, man, you're so fortunate because, like you said, so many athletes. You've invested all your time into this. I'm a hooper. I'm a football player. And when you can't do that anymore, it's like, where where does you have to literally go find passion,
Mm-hmm.
or passion, or at least what's some shit that I would want to do and that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it's even like being in entertainment my whole life. Like, it's cool. There's like dope parts about that. I feel like I'm a little bit better at entertainment because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But same shit. It's like, okay, if I couldn't do this, it's like, okay, what do you go do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? What is it? I'm passionate about this. This is what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like to find that in a matter of 2 years. I mean, I'm sure it was a very bumpy 2 years, but I'm saying to find that though in a matter of so quickly, and being able to what's the word? Being able to capitalize off of the opportunities you got to get into that infrastructure. Because like even to this day, you still work with Nike. Like, you know what I mean? And like to build those relationships with those brands so early, it's incredible, man.
Yeah, it took. I mean, it was definitely good. I definitely tell people when they ask, how they can get in the industry and what they should do. I tell them like, don't stress too much on just getting these big brands and just working so fast, or watching other people and seeing what they're doing and thinking you should be because you're a certain age or whatever. You have to understand your time is going to be your time. You know what I'm saying? Before I was there, I had times where I was in the car, sleeping in the car, didn't have an apartment, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, what's next, and you just got to you got to keep yourself level headed in those times. You got to understand that there is always a way for things to change. You just got to figure it out. You got to understand that you sitting in the house or sitting in your feelings about things not being where they're supposed to be, that's not going to help you. God is not going to help you because of that. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You got to put things in motion. You got to make
Action.
plans, and you got to have faith in yourself. You got to take risks. You know what I mean? This is a crazy place to be, but a lot of people that come here, they took a risk.
Yeah.
Mind you, if you're not from here, someone that comes here from somewhere else, you're taking a risk. This is not like.
And no one wants to go home.
No one wants to go home.
Or they wouldn't have come here in the first place.
They wouldn't have came here.
Like, no.
Because once you're here, you see what can be. You see the possibilities. Like, you're outside looking at a view, and you see somebody else far away. They looking across the view at you at a condo.
Yeah.
They're outside their condo with their hands behind their back looking at what they done.
And then there's another fool in a huge house in the hills looking at the building, condo building, and looking down. At them. Yeah.
And then he's looking down at you, and you know what I mean? And and then you're looking down at someone on the street.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things, and they're looking up at you, and they're like, they trying to figure, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's one
of
those things. So I feel like that's one of the drives. This one of the things that's driven me out here in LA, because I feel like you see how far and how fast things can go. I have a lot of friends that I've seen came out here with nothing and figured things out, and you're kind of amazed, you know what I mean? It's just a place where you can make your dreams come true, but you gotta really see what that dream is, and you gotta believe that you can actually accomplish those things. And I think that's part of it, because you can be down on your luck. Like, a lot of people are here that down on their luck, man, and they think that things, they might be like, oh, things are bad for me. It might not, but you never know. Like, if you keep on it, I guarantee you, if you stay on it, things will change.
Oh yeah,
things are never gonna stay the same.
Things aren't. There will always be dips. But if you're working towards something, what I've noticed, it's just like the stock market. Over time, when you look at like a large graph, it never loses. It only keeps going up. Just no matter what, that shit just keeps going. But now when you zoom in, there's a whole lot of this shit going on. But that's anything that is consistent. Like, Michael Jordan can't hit every shot. I don't care how great this guy is. You can't hit every shot. That's just not how the game works. You can't win every game. You can't win. But a lot of people, I think, it looks, and especially social media stuff, it looks easy. It looks like, what's he doing? He's just going and taking some pictures, right? Like, I could do that. But it's like, no, it's all the things in between that. It's being available to go to the castings. It's being fate sometimes too, being even with auditions for acting stuff,
being disciplined,
being even, for example, I know, like, working out, like, that's something you have to do. Like, some people just don't do it. As you know, we be working out together, but like it's an upkeep that you must take care of. Your teeth can't be crazy. Like there's a lot of things that have to be done, but some people want to buy into the game, but don't want to actually put in any of the effort or the discipline or the work.
You got to put in. That's the one thing here. You got to put in work. A lot of people think like they think somehow like these people they're seeing that they just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. They
just have this idea that like someone just came out here and they were discovered and they became Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Or fucking, but that's not how it goes. Like everybody had their steps. You ain't see everybody's steps, but everybody had their steps. A lot of people ask me and be like, "Yo, it seem like you just like nah, bro." Like it was a lot of steps in between. Like it was a lot of learning. Like I remember when I first became a model and I was shooting and I shot with a photographer one time. The photographer was good. He picked me out like on some like, I saw your Instagram and I was like, I want to shoot with you. And we shot together and he kind of told me afterwards, he was like, yo, like, you're like a really good looking dude, bro. But like, you're like a D, C level skill in modeling. Like you kind of just, you don't really know like what to move, how to move really with the camera. He's like, bro, I'm gonna come and shoot with you more, and I'm gonna show you how to like move when the camera's and how to get your angles on the camera because you got to know where the camera is. You're just shooting like somebody's looking at you.
Right.
And I'm just like, I was like, well, what? Like, so we did a shoot, and he's like showing me. Then I'm shooting. Then he's shooting me for a minute. I'm kind of moving weird. I'm not really getting it. Like, I don't really get what he's trying to say. But then like, he's like, all right, bro, look, like you hold the camera. You take a picture, and I'm gonna show you what to do. You take a picture how you think you should take a picture, and I'm gonna show you how you should move the camera. So he's taking pictures, and I'm clicking, and he's moving every time it clicks. And he's like, do you see how I move when the camera clicks? And I'm like, it's like, oh, shit, you move when the camera clicks.
Genius. Right.
Ding. You like, what the fuck? Like, nah, but it's just like, it was little stuff like that you learn on the way that you don't even, that's something nobody knows that I learned that. Like, they don't know how, but just from him telling me that and being like, yo, you should like watch how some of these guys that you're shooting with move.
Right.
He's like, go look at photos of people that look similar to you. You know, you don't have to copy their look, but look at what they're doing and understand that there's a creative form for you of that too. Yeah,
I was gonna say form. There's literally a form and a structure, and you need to find those parallels, and that's your homework.
And that's what you gotta learn. And so I started looking at other people. I'm seeing what kind of stuff people are doing. Honestly, I typed stuff in. Like I was doing weird stuff when I first came out here and I was trying to be a model. I was like, where do models go to take pictures? Like where do where do models hang out? Like just weird stuff. And I just would go and do stuff, like, and eventually I feel like you take the persona of what you're trying to be, right? If you want to be an actor and after wanting to be one for 5 years, you are one, right? You've also been acting like you're one, right? So,
You've been acting.
You've been literally acting like you're one. So
the performance of your life.
At some point in time, all that becomes you, and I feel like that's like kind of what the thing with the modeling thing. Because a lot of my people I came up with kind of like, bro, you became a model is unreal. Coming from where I was and doing what, but it's not because just like anything else, just like you weren't always the guy whoever. Let's say you're working at a 9-to-5 job, a desk job. You weren't always at that desk job. At some point in time, that shit felt unfamiliar, right? Bro. It felt weird. Like at one time it did. So I feel like that's the same thing of it. And I feel like I try to attack most things in life in that manner, like understanding that even if it feels unfamiliar, I kind of at this point in time, when something feels unfamiliar off the rip, it excites me a little bit because I understand that like you can make that familiar. You know what I mean? It can seem regular. I'm sure the millionaire, when he got his first million, it felt like different. It felt like breathtaking or whatever. The second one didn't quite feel like that. The third one didn't quite feel like that.
It's normal.
It starts being a part of you.
Consistency.
You're that guy to get millions. You know what I mean? Like
now all of a sudden, you're a millionaire.
And it's normal.
And you consistently do this.
And people are wondering, like, how the fuck does he do this? How does he maintain this? There's a lot of money. There's a lot of people he has to pay. It's so confusing.
I did it every day.
I've done it.
I
This is
did
me.
it every day.
It's
And
a
this is
part
who
of your
I am.
DNA now. This is
Yeah.
what it is. And I think that's when you get to a point when you're really good at something. Like when you're a really good model, you're a really good actor. When you go to set or you go to audition and it doesn't feel like it's an audition anymore. It just feels like this is what you're doing. This is your day. This is part of what your work consists of. I'm going to the audition. It's like, okay, I'm going to audition. I'm about to shoot straight. We're gonna, what are we gonna do? We gonna knock them out, or we gonna fall flat? We gonna feel, oh, damn, I fell flat this time. Ooh,
Right.
shit, it happens. There's another time you ain't gonna fall flat. You know,
Very true.
it's just that's the mindset I take in most things, and especially auditions. And I tell people when they ask me things like, what should I do to get better and get more bookings and get more, get an agency and stuff? You got to really put in those kind of work, and you know what I mean. Take time to make sure those things are dealt with.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I've even noticed, it's funny, like, as you're saying this, I'm even thinking about all the times you're like, oh, yeah, I'm just doing this test shoot, or I'm just shooting with this. But now it's like, I never put those things together. Like, oh, right. Like, nigga, that's you in the gym. That's practice. Like, and that makes sense. You know what I mean? But that's something that I know a lot of people aren't doing. They're not going out of their way. If it's like, if I ain't got a job, I'm not shooting. But it's like, no, I'm working on what I do. So I am never rusty. I am sharp. Also, when you get in there and you're doing jobs, you know how to knock the shit out.
And you feel comfortable. I'm working on acting. I'm taking classes and stuff and doing stuff. And I don't feel like it's not completely comfortable yet for me doing everything. Like the auditions are, like, I feel like at this point in the time, I'm pretty nice at auditions. I know what I'm doing there. I watched you do auditions. I watched other people do auditions. I kind of am familiar with what the components are to book an audition. If you're what they're looking for.
Exactly.
If you're what they're looking for, what you can just be yourself because they're looking for you. You know what I mean?
Looking for you. The mechanics just need to be there.
Just mechanics have to be there, and I understand that already now. The only thing is, like, I'm figuring out now when I'm on set being fully comfortable.
Right.
Being comfortable when you're on these sets and they're telling you to give you these directions on the fly, and are you going to be able to make these expressions and do these things on the fly without sitting at home and practicing multiple times? That's different than when they're telling you in the audition, like, oh, can you do this right here and there? Like, or you're in the third audition and you're in front of people and they're like, can you give me a little bit more emotion or something? Let me get more expression from you. How do you feel about
how well does he take direction?
Exactly.
That is one of the biggest, and I'll say that shit though is game changing in a sense of it'll fuck around and get you a job.
It'll get you somewhere.
Because even if you come in and you just do it completely wrong, and when I say wrong, different vision of what the person who wrote it or who's the producer or whatever, and they say sometimes they won't even want you to change something. Maybe you did it completely right, but they'll just go, yeah, honestly, give him less. Like, I don't want him to be so or give him more, whatever that note is. But if you can adjust to that note exactly how they imagined you adjusting in their head, or giving them something where they're like, holy shit, I didn't see that coming. It changes the game because they realize this doesn't matter what we're doing here right now. I can tell this motherfucker to do anything and he'll get it.
Yeah.
And that is invaluable. Like, there's no amount of money that you could, like, that's why they want AI for things. Exactly. Because it's like, I can tell this shit what I want and it will give it to me. Follow directions. And it's hard, especially if you're doing something emotional or you're doing something, it's hard to just be able to tune into that if you don't practice or if you aren't taking those classes or aren't. And then I've noticed another dynamic people have is, I've grown up in front of cameras. I'm kind of used to that. But like, oh, right, so you can do all these things because we all know how to smile. We all know how to be geeked. We all know how to be like overzealous. We all know how to be moody. But when you got 20 other people and a camera in front of you.
Now give me a smile. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
You've been going through whatever you're going through and kind of dull, kind of normal. Now they like, can you cheer it up a little bit? Give us a little bit more. So you've been kind of frowning this whole time. You've been kind of, now you're supposed to just smile. Like,
and you're supposed to take that same dialogue. You're supposed to be like, You know, Rebecca was telling me that it kind of was weird when you came over the other day because then you could say that. Well, Rebecca was telling me it was kind of weird when you came over the other day because it's just a different intention.
And it's crazy because you don't understand how hard things are like that before you start doing it.
Oh, right.
Because
right.
When I first started being a model, it was the moody thing. You know, it was kind of like, I was like, okay, it's easy as hell. All I got to do is be moody. All I got to do is stale face it, everything.
Right.
I'm stale facing, I'm dull facing everything. And
Models do not smile.
It was just working out. But then when you start doing you're a commercial model now, Ash. You're not always doing just, you gotta smile. Like, and it's just like, you gotta learn that. Like, smiling on cue, like someone being like smile on cue is so different than you think it is. Like, just walk up to have a friend, go outside and go tell somebody, hey, can you smile for me real quick?
They're gonna be like, what?
They're gonna be like, it's gonna be tough for them to even just give you just like a genuine, unless it's like something funny that you're saying or you're smiling at them but like to just smile on cue with a camera in front of you and you know you're doing work.
It's different.
It's a skill that you got to learn.
And everybody's not a smiley person. That's another thing. Like,
exactly.
It's not so hard for certain people because they be smiling. They're smiling.
But I've even seen it with people that can smile, that have big smiles, but when they're in front of the camera, they give an awkward smile now. Yeah, they do.
Oh, that shit.
It's an awkward. Yes, they do an awkward when you be like, but they don't know that when you're smiling or when you're, I got told. How I learned how to smile was like you're supposed to think of something funny, obviously.
Bro, that's has always been. No one ever told me this, but that's always been my method. And I told my homie Lewis this too. I was like, whenever you're taking a photo, I say just laugh first.
Just laugh first. Exactly. And it's funny because you get so used to that. Like when I first was doing that in my head, I was like, think of something funny. You get so used to it that like when you get told to smile or laugh on cue, you don't even think of that. You just laugh on cue. Yeah. Like be real. You're not like at this point in time, you don't when you have to laugh on cue or you have to for a scene or something, you're not even thinking about nothing funny. You just understand the feeling of thinking about something funny because you've done it for so long.
Right.
And that's how it feels for me now. Like at this point, like if I have to smile on camera, I'm not thinking about nothing happy. I just know how to smile on camera now because it's a part of me. I've done this for a long time now.
Mm-hmm. And it's bro, all this shit too is muscle memory.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, you can also, you see the things, you look for the root of like, yes, you're supposed to be listening, especially in acting. I'm supposed to be listening. I'm supposed to be listening like it's the first time. So when you say that joke or whatever, I can laugh. Yeah. Just like what the fuck? Like, but even that, I think that's what I would do.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck is this guy? Yeah.
Exactly.
He's you're crazy, man. And then, but you're drawing just off of experience because we've all had that moment, but it's just got to be loaded and muscle memoried into the chamber. Because if
you're pulling from that moment. You like, I remember how I laughed at this moment when it was a hit. That was when it was nice. Right. I remember that. Like, when I do auditions, sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember this one audition. How I looked at the camera and it was like a really good look, or when I did this, it was a really, so you just know
this works. This
exactly.
Doesn't. It's just like everything else, just like basketball, just like fucking painting. It's your toolkit.
Your toolkit.
And certain people got sharper pencils. Certain people got better paintbrushes. Certain people, but whatever are your. These kill him. Denzel got a toolkit. He a damn good actor, but Denzel Washington got a toolkit.
He knows.
He know when to slap some shit off the table.
He knows when it's going. This going.
He knows when to do that.
This is gonna kill him.
This gonna kill him. Like he knows. Like, but Samuel L. Jackson, he knows when it's time to throw a motherfucker.
He knows when it's time to throw that motherfucker in.
Like
there.
it's. Whoa, pause.
Whoa.
But the
take that one off.
But it's funny how no matter what industry you're in, you have to be mindful of that, and you have to. It's all a part of getting comfortable with yourself. Because even I noticed since I started doing this, like I've always been comfortable in front of cameras, but this gave me a whole different level of like. Being myself and talking in front of cameras.
It's different.
It's very different.
It's a lot different.
Acting, I can act all day.
It's a script.
Because that's a script, and no one's going to have a problem with me for what I'm acting.
Yeah.
But
this is you. This
is me. Yeah. So if the thoughts and opinions are not viewed well, or if someone's like, he looks funny when he, I don't give a shit. Like, I've gotten over that. But my point is still, it's me. It's me. Like, there's no real middle ground to like mask it with. So, but once again, you do it for X amount of hours, you start to be like, oh, okay, what the fuck? And then you start getting a little too comfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
But you start being like, the fucking problem. And then you're like, oh, right. But no, that's interesting, man. So you've worked now with Abercrombie. You've worked with what are the biggest brands? Abercrombie, fucking Nike.
I've done Levi's.
I've
done PacSun.
True Religion.
Done Dior. I had 2 magazines with New York Times.
Yeah, I remember those. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I've done a lot, man. And I feel like I've probably done like 20, 30 campaigns, man. I don't know how many campaigns I've done, but I know it's a high amount. And I feel like I'm very blessed to be able to have done this. Like, honestly, it's actually a shock, Yeah. Sometimes I think about it and I'll be like you're one decision away from not doing this at all. Like, this was cool, but like I was thinking about not doing it,
All right. I mean, because once again, it's uncharted territory.
Exactly.
Like, it's you deciding, fuck it. I'll give something new a shot, and most people just don't. We like once again, we like consistency. We like doing the same shit over and over again, expecting different results. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we like. But to go out on that limb and say, fuck it, let me try this. Maybe I can't, because also that's setting aside a whole lot of insecurities and things, like a whole lot of shit, man. And I don't think people really understand that. They don't really.
It's one of those things, man. Honestly, but it's great to get out of that shell. I think a lot more people should do that. I grew up with a lot of talented people. I think a lot of people more talented than me in things, like, in general, and I feel like a lot of them restricted themselves because, like, they kind of was. I would tell, like, a lot of people they should come to LA when I first was coming, and I was making. And, like, because I would see people that reminded me of the people I grew up with here,
right,
making things happen. And I'd be like, damn, I got a homie that, you see somebody drawing, you're like, damn, I got a homie that draws better than him. That probably he could be out here doing this. He's just creative. Or I got like I got a friend that does tattoos I grew up with. I'm like, man, he's so good at tattoos, but I stay beside somebody that's $1 million tattoo artist. I'm like,
right. And then you hit him with that call. Yo, bro, listen, man, you got to get out here.
I'm like,
I'm telling you,
I'm like, bro,
people cleaning up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm be real. Like, I'm like, my guy, I don't think the people out here just tattoo better than my guy, but where they at? You know what I'm saying? They're here and they went through it here before. They probably came here and was tattooing for $50 an hour at one point in time,
Sure.
Figuring it out. And I think that's the fear. Leaving somewhere else where you're comfortable and you've already done, or you have a clear path of things happening.
Yeah.
And then coming somewhere where it's unsure. The possibilities are endless, but you're unsure of where your path is.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the big fear that a lot of people get in when they come out here to Los Angeles. And I understand it. Like, fear definitely is the thing that limits a lot of people, I feel like. And I think that's the thing that a lot of us here in Los Angeles are. If you come here, you're from somewhere else, and you're making it happen, you're fearless, bro. Like, you didn't worry about that. You worried about it, but you was like, yo, I don't. These things are fears, but I'm gonna make what I want and my dreams come true. So I'm gonna make it happen here, and that's why I always I applaud people that come to Los Angeles from other places and make something happen, or somebody that builds something here from nothing or from the bottom. I've watched that happen. I think that's more than anything, that's one of the most impressive things you can do.
100%. Yeah, to build your own anything, because that's hard as shit. You have to figure out, and you have to fall into every pitfall of doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if we look at even all the work I've done, all the work you've done, like, these are companies that at some point someone built them. Like, that's a crazy thought. Like, now we're just small cogs in the overall system, like a Nike or Dior or an ABC or, you know what I mean, or HBO. But someone built this.
One person
So like
had an idea, and this idea became
this idea became this, where I'm sitting here trying to get a job here.
Exactly.
You know, yeah, that's a crazy thought.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's sometimes people can't just leave though, because they do have responsibilities. Like if you have kids
Mm-hmm.
or like a family or something, and you can't pick up and move, I get it at a certain point. But when you're young,
you have no excuses.
and you don't have either way.
You got to take those risks because you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would say, of course, the kids thing, if you have a kid, but I mean, we hear about these stories of people like Cat Williams and all these different people who were working and they had to leave their kids behind while they were working. Monique, like, people, they had to do what and I'm not going to say that's the best thing to do for a person and all that, but they kind of got their dreams and they had to what I'm saying is you got to make sacrifices.
True.
You got to understand, like, you do have kids, whatever.
True.
But now, okay, you want your kids to have a better life, right? What would you rather do? Stay with them a whole 10, 18 years or whatever and y'all just figuring things out? Or would you take a year or 2 years away from them so that you could have a life that was set up perfect for them? It's a risky thing. Depends on what we don't have kids, so we can't really make that decision.
No, that's what I'm saying. I agree. I think it's risky, but then I think it's also the thing of you were headed somewhere, and then most of the people you named, they were headed somewhere, then they had this kid. So it's also a little different, because I'll put it this way: if I was doing something, I had a thing going, and it's like, well, I'm trying to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But I got this family already, that's a little different than if it's like I was headed to growing and then, things happen, had a kid. I got to keep going. I got to keep going because it's too close.
It just depends on you, or it depends on you as a person, your morals and your family upbringing, what you're going to do.
Well, I would hope if that were the situation, you have a woman who's also really in that. She's like, I get it. This is crazy.
But then y'all will have that's the scenario you should have to understand. You would have to be in the industry or something, or it has to be that kind of person. It's tough. That's tough, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You're
not telling nobody in in Idaho, hey, look, I gotta go. I gotta go be an actor.
I'll be back. Like,
what, nigga? Stop it.
It's crazy. Like, listen, the sacrifice is crazy, because the sacrifices that we have to make, and people in general, you don't know what these people have done, sacrifices they've made to be what they are. Some people never went to high school. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Some people never had a college experience. You never had. You didn't go. True. You didn't do the college campus life. A lot of people, they sacrificed that to start a career early, to understand that maybe they understood stuff that we didn't know already. That this is going to take me farther than that school is, and that's
right.
It is what it is, So I feel like that,
Hey, look, and you look goofy at first. And then
that's what I'm saying.
Then over time, it's like, oh shit, I guess it's working.
I guess it's working. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a thing of sacrifice, man. I feel like that was a main thing I understood while being out here and coming up in Los Angeles. You definitely have to sacrifice. You can't go to every party. Yeah. You do need to go out sometimes. Another thing I tell people, like, I don't understand this whole thing. Like, if you live in Los Angeles and you don't go out, Maestro need to go out more too. You go out sometimes, but this is the thing. If you live in Los Angeles, you have to sometimes go out. You have to, because there's no point of being here. This isn't no offense to anybody in, I don't know, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Utah. Utah's lit.
They got their lip pockets, but overall,
yeah. No offense, but like, I understand if you live there and you're not going out, you're not going to events or stuff like that. But this is Los Angeles, and you network. This is where, if you're in that mix, if you're trying to be in the world of entertainment, you're trying to be a model, actor, singer, rapper, you need to be out. You don't have to be out. You've been in the industry for years, but I'm talking about generally in the gist of people trying to be in the industry, wanting to be a model or actor. Because just like I know you, get people ask you how you can be an actor, how you can. I get bombarded all the time. People are asking me how can I be a model? What's your advice? My biggest advice to people is to check your surrounding, your location, where you are, right? Where do you live? What can be done from where you live?
Yeah.
Can anything be done to further your career from where you live? If it can, do the maximum that you can do to further your career there. If it's nothing and you want a career, you need to go somewhere else. But if there's a way to further it there, then find a way to branch to places where it'll get bigger. Because if you already have the experience there and understand, once you get to a place like here, you'll be in a better position to make things happen. And once you get here, find yourself in places where there's similar people that are looking to get to places you're going to.
People trying to go somewhere. Those are the environments.
Those are environments you need to be in. That's how you build a winning culture and winning, you know what I mean? For things to win, for you to make things happen. And I think that's one of my biggest advices for people trying to break in the industry, become models or become, so I get these questions all the time, and I feel like that's the best advice I have,
Yeah.
Get an agent.
Yeah, facts. It's funny because it's like, it's got to be a balance. I mean, you're right, but it's got to be a balance, as you know, of like not getting too lost in the sauce. Because that's one thing I always feel like, and I tell people this, like, you always like get on you're like, man, you don't go out, you don't want to do nothing. But a lot of times I'm like, if I don't have nothing to sell, or I don't have anything that what am I here for? Because a lot of people, as you know, we see certain people, they just out at everything.
They out every single night.
And it's like, sometimes I feel like if you can get into every event and you be everywhere, well, whatever you're honing or whatever craft you're selling,
you better be advertising it.
You better be advertising.
You better be out there advertising.
And it might not be where it should be because you're always outside.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a balance. Like, there's things you need to be at that can change your life, your career. There's things that are just fun.
They're just fun.
You know what I mean? 4 a.m., I don't give a fuck who is in that spot at 4 a.m. at whatever. 9 times out of 10, they're not there at that point to talk business or do anything. That's not the time. You know what I mean? You want to, like, you have to be in the spaces that are, like you said, conducive. And when people are actually in their right mind and not looking to just have a good time. Because no one wants to help you when I'm trying to have a good time.
I'm not about to talk no business. Like, it's I understand that. And they definitely need to understand that too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do try to, like, reach out to people and contact people out at parties and clubs. Like, listen, nobody wants to talk about
your script while
careers. We don't want to. I don't want to talk. I really don't want to talk about modeling or nothing like that outside and partying. Like, I feel like a lot of people is definitely like that. You're right about that.
And a lot of people don't want to be seen partying. Yeah. Because if we're being realistic, usually partying doesn't entail a lot of things that you'd want to post for your boss to see, whoever your boss is.
Exactly.
So it's kind of, that's why a lot of times the celebrities only, like out here party in certain places. Because otherwise it's just like,
it's not a good look. You got,
oh, what's up, man? Then you're like, shit, I can't do nothing in here now.
I mean, yeah. Also, once you're at a point, you don't need to be going out like that. Yeah, but this is as far as like breaking in the industry.
Oh yeah, building, 100%.
Building in the industry, you're trying to be something. You have things. Maybe you have a skincare brand. You want people to see. Now, if you have a skincare brand, you can't just advertise and think you just paid for all these advertisements is going to work out. You have to go out. And people have to see you. You have to. You
got to give away some samples to some influencer girls.
I went to this event. Oh, yeah. Have you look? Y'all are into skincare? I actually have I have a brand. I want you. You know,
Yeah.
it has to be like one of those. You have to sell yourself.
You gotta
here.
be at the black market flea.
You gotta be
like you gotta
you know?
be. That's one thing I've noticed too. Like I'll respect somebody's hustle when you see there's certain moves they've made.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you tell me you have a brand and then you sit here and you're like, oh yeah, so like we're at black market, the black flea market. We're at what's the other thing we went to? It was like another Black on the Block.
Black on the Block.
Yeah, we're at all these different everyday people. We have a pop up.
We showing
yeah,
love.
you see
posting stickers around, like all that.
Yeah, like you see stuff like that. That makes you look like, oh damn, this is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help, or I want to, or I should connect. There's something here. There's growth to be had here, But a lot of times, and I'm sure you see this, it's like I tell people this too. Your Instagram page should look like what the fuck you do.
It has to look like what you do.
If you can't,
you can't say you're a model and you don't have professional pics. You only got pictures of you, selfies. You're not a model.
Exactly.
You get me? People say they're an actor. You're not an actor. You have no reels. You have nothing. You have nothing that says you're an actor on your. You're just telling people that.
Yeah.
It has to look like it, even if you aren't that yet. That's another thing. The fake it to make it thing is honestly real.
Yeah.
It is what it
100%,
is.
100%.
If you're not a little delusional and you thinking like you are what you are, you might not be that yet. But if you don't think it and really make yourself believe it, you're never gonna be that.
Facts.
You're gonna always think you're gonna kind of feel like that what's the wannabe thing, or what's it called,
like
imposter
imposter
syndrome.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel like, and honestly, I had that at first when I was a model. I came to LA and I kind of felt imposter syndrome because I'm like, I'm meeting people like the same age as me, or younger or older, and they've been doing it for years.
Right.
They're telling me like they know exactly how to move. They know everything. Yeah. They've been getting money from this. They know the ups and downs. They know it all. And I'm new, and that shit is like you gotta adapt. That shit is not,
Yeah. No, that's crazy. It's weird to see, what do people like. I hope you realize, well, you realize now, but like I hope people realize too, when you see people who have just been doing it longer, that's a gift and a curse.
It is.
Because the gift is, yes, they will be generally, especially if they've been on their shit for a long time, they will be more skilled. It's just practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They will be a bit more comfortable, I think, just because once again, it's that reality thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if it's been your reality for 5 years. There's another thing if it's been your reality for 20. It's another if it's been your reality for 50. You just move different, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's weird to think that a lot of people just think it's only a positive.
Yeah, for me, I think I agree with that too, because I don't really know how I would have took things if I was like a model when I was younger. People were like telling me,
yeah, it's
you know what I mean, like
different.
Like now I'm older, so when I was younger, people weren't really saying that, or when I was, but like when I now obviously like people like, you're handsome, you look like a model, all this and whatnot. That's cool. I think I accept it pretty well right now.
But as a teenager,
that's why I understand like how these things, like what you're saying of how the longevity of it doesn't always affect everyone in the best way.
Yeah, and when you're newer, a lot of times it's nice because they like it fresh face. They like it because it's somebody who they can mold.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's especially an agency. It's like, oh, this is a new person on the roster. It feels like the motherfucker y'all used to like, but he's old now, and we got this young guy, and he can come in. You know what I mean? And it works to its advantage on both ends. But I definitely think a lot of newer people should understand, like, it's not bad to be new.
No,
it's bad to be new and come off as brand new. Yeah, that's bad.
I feel like if you're new and unprepared, it's not too good. I was always told this growing up, and I always kind of feel like I live by it. Like, and I feel like if it was a way I would want like people to just always feel this way about me, this is how I try to come off as, like, in general. Like, if I'm coming to do a job, or like, you know, not just like in reality, but just like if I'm coming to do a job or something's going to be done, or someone is expecting something out of me,
Yeah.
I always want to be better than advertised.
100%.
I want it to be like, if I come and they're like, oh, he's good at ball, like, I'm gonna come and show you how good I really am, because I want you to know, like, you know. Or if we're coming and like we working out, like you're challenging me to lift off or something, I would have came prepared as fuck, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I want to be better than advertised, because that's how I kind of was brought up in that way, where I understand that, like, that's what you got to be as a black man. You got to be better than advertised. You can't
100%.
to be where you want to be. You can't just be good. You can't just be better than them. You literally have to be, like, people are saying, oh, this guy's this. Be that the first time. Be that whenever they try to be that the first time somebody ever seen you. They like, oh, this motherfucker's great. Be great the first time you was ever seen.
Yeah. And
So
that's how you build a reputation.
And that's how you build, and that's how you be, and I think that's just how I think everybody should try to move. But that's my biggest thing. That's how I try to move, man. I want to be better than advertised. I want you to see me and be like, nah, yeah, man, I'm surprised he was.
Work with him.
Like, damn, I'm surprised. I didn't think he was gonna be like that. That's what I want to hear. I want you to feel like that, you know, and that's I think one of the things people should strive to be like in the industry. Be better than advertised.
Man, in anything, bro.
In anything.
Because, I mean, let's be real. We're all excited when we buy something and we're just, oh, man, it was the best. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or spend our money on something, see
and
a
it
show.
was worth it.
Man,
you know?
Yes.
I agree with that.
Because losing money, you're always, or even like with food, you'd be like, it was cool.
Man,
you'd be kind of mad.
My favorite one is when you do something like you watch a series or something and you just didn't have faith in it, or like it starts off slow. You're like, man, it's bullshit ass series. Then it flips, or something happens and the protagonist changes or something. You're like, man, this is amazing. Like, you're like, this is, and it's just that feeling of something.
This shit is better
something
than
making it,
advertised.
like, you know what I mean? You're like, man, this shit is better than you was really doubting it, and this shit is better than you thought it was. Like, that's
facts.
That's the best feeling, like, you know what I mean? And that feeling, imagine that feeling on someone else. Imagine you coming into, like, obviously we don't want to have real bosses, you know. I mean, it's cool to have a boss, like a director or whatever, but like, we don't really want to, but imagine, like, you're coming in, you hiring somebody. Let's say you hiring somebody to be your lead designer in one of your projects. You hire this motherfucker, he makes the best design in the number one design. You like, oh my God, thank God. Like, you know what I'm saying? You like, yes. Yeah. And that's what, like, I want that feeling. I feel like that's the feeling that you should try to give. Like, you want that feeling in the world, because that's how you get farther to me, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, going above and beyond, that is how everyone should go about doing anything that they want to do. Because if you don't, someone else is going to.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? And that's
the one thing people don't understand in the industry as well. Because a lot of people just quit. And obviously, like, you and I have been in LA for years, and we've seen many people come and go. Not in a good way, in the bad. I'm talking about, like, come and go is different. If you come and make your dreams come true and then you go move somewhere else because you got it, that's different.
You won the game.
Different.
You left.
That's completely different. You left on your own accord. It's different. On your own accord. Now,
and went bought a house somewhere else.
That's different.
Yeah.
But you moving because things aren't moving too well for you here, and you think it'll be well somewhere else. Like, we've seen that a lot.
Yeah. Facts.
And what else have we seen? That person that leaves, somebody else that was right behind them, and they were just
right on up.
They
the
were
rankings.
just worried. They was, you know,
yeah.
I just, you know, he quit a month early. I stayed about a month or so longer. Shit, oh damn, shit worked out for me. I got the deal.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be his deal though. He was supposed to stick it out.
But you know what? It wasn't supposed to be his deal.
It wasn't supposed to be his deal because he wasn't gonna stick it out, and that's the thing about the game in here. That's how
you only fail once you quit. That's it.
If you kept going, you never failed.
You never fail.
You was trying to be, I'm still working towards it though.
Yeah,
you quit. The other person quit. I'm still working towards it. You know, so it's just like that's how I really take the whole gist of the thing in LA of trying to get out there and become something. Like, you really can't quit if you're trying to be this, especially if you're going in a certain way. Because I see a lot of people, they'll try to like, I get it. You're trying to go multiple ways and you're trying to go hard in multiple ways at one time. Mm-hmm. I've even done it before. I found myself doing that. You're doing this, you're doing that. You're trying to do all these things at a high level. But in reality, you can only really do one thing at a high level and then you maintain these other things at a certain level.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do for you to make things happen. And a lot of people they're doing so many things at one time and then you're wondering why all of these things aren't just blowing up or make
right.
But it's like you can't be thinking of all of them blowing up like that. You have to think on what you want to blow up or what you want to make happen. Then from there, that blew up. Now you have the ability to make this happen and this happen and this happen. So that's what really, like, I always tell people, like, man, you cannot quit. Like, this is a place where if you want your dreams to come through or things to happen for you, you have to actually stick with it, put in the work. You fail, you get rejected, you come back better.
Yeah, you come back the next day.
You come back
like,
better.
There can't be any. It's literally one step in front of the other. Because I notice, especially when I go home and stuff, or when you talk to people who don't work in the industry, they have this like perception of, like you said before, it's like it's this one break. It's this one person who said, "Hey, you." It's this one, and it's like, not really. It's really like, you're going to do a whole bunch of shit. Most of it isn't going to matter, but you're going to learn a lot while doing it. And then you're going to do something.
You're going to have the opportunity to do something.
There you go. And then you're going to have the opportunity to do something that then is actually going to be in front of somebody that kind of matters. And then they're going to see that and they're going to be like, hey, I'd hire him again. And then you're going to work on that for a little while. You might feel a little stagnant, but still you're working at whatever the fuck that was you were trying to do. You're actually doing it. It might be a little slow, but you're doing it. Then from there, all of a sudden,
you're used to it too. Eventually you get used to it. Then what happens? You get that big role.
All of a sudden, somebody, hey, we should get and the stars aligned for something that was just right for you. And you kept going at it. And now this is the opportunity. Now it's yours to fuck up.
Are you ready?
It's yours to completely fuck up.
That's the one, man. You can't. In another one, and I say this myself. I randomly thought about it. You definitely, like, you cannot be scared to be the one. I feel like a lot of people, they don't even know it. You don't even know that you're scared to be the one. But let me explain. I can explain how people be scared to be the one. It'll be like a situation like, I explain like this. I did it one time. I was in my hometown. I got recruited in my high school to go my senior year to play for a different high school. This high school was kind of in the hood.
Right.
But this is where you really get recruited. You get seen. You play with these players, you're probably going to go big time, whatever. Right? It would have been a little bit harder for me. I would have been like, workouts a little harder. It's a little farther, driving farther. Having to stay out there sometimes. You're probably going to have to stay with a coach sometimes. Like, I was comfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I'm like,
that sounds uncomfortable.
That sounds uncomfortable, bro.
And then I could still be with my niggas over here.
I can still be here, like, you know.
That's how it happened.
And you don't want to take those. And if you don't, I didn't do it. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I felt like could have easily went there, took these risks, been uncomfortable, and who knows what would have happened.
Right.
Maybe I wouldn't have done that, but that would have been the chance. You would have had your opportunity to, and that's right. What I'd be saying. People be scared to even be the one. You know what I mean? Like, and I realized when I got older, I was like, that was you being scared to be the one. You needed to be, you needed to be comfortable. You couldn't just be the one and do that shit. But that's where people go wrong out here. You scared to be the one. That's why you don't want to be disciplined. Yeah. That's why you don't want to. You like, nah, I don't want to. Some people don't. Maybe you don't want to date that girl that's good for you because you like, man, she gonna take me on a good track where I'm gonna be. I'm scared of what that's gonna be like. That's what it is. It's fear, bro. You're scared to be the one. The one is the person that's that one. They've done things. They sacrificed. They've went through this moment when they're in their head that we're going through right now, where you're thinking like, damn, what should I do? I could do this and be, but man, maybe I won't.
Whatever's the comfortable option, it's the wrong option.
It's the wrong option,
the
bro.
wrong option.
It's usually the wrong option, bro. Honestly, you're not meant to be. We ain't even meant to just be comfortable forever. That's not even how nature is. Nature isn't meant where things are just.
We weren't comfortable. Fucking 200 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that's some new shit. That's some like since the 60s shit.
We're evolving
50s.
to be comfortable, but that shit is like. That's my biggest thing about like a lot of people, and I feel like that's my biggest takeaway from like trying to be something here and be that. Don't be scared to be the one, because like it can be you. Like there was a point in time, whoever was not him is Post Malone. He's as big as he is. There's a point in time Post Malone wasn't him. He was sitting in the gym being a regular student, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's facts. Well, man, thank you for sitting down with me.
Of course.
It was fun. Finally got a podcast. We'll do some more.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
some more shit.
Of course.
Talk about sports. I gotta do something with you in sports.
Yeah, man.
You know too much about basketball, and I know nothing. So
we can do that. We can run the sports, John. You know, I'm knowledgeable. We gotta get my boy Jabari in here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got like find something to do and watch all the shit. But
I'll definitely have one. Me and Jabari could definitely have a long one.
long form interview,
okay.
sir.
Good one.
But we out.
All right,
peace. Man.